What is going on, YouTube people? Today, another edition of the weekly sports card market update, the longest running Sunday news recap video in the business. I have no idea if that's true or not, but sure does sound good. So we're going to go ahead and say it. I have been doing this for over pretty close to 5 years now, if not exact. Actually, yeah, 5 years plus now on the weekly sports card market update. Started a few months into the channel being alive. So it has definitely been over 5 years now that I have been doing the Sunday recap video in some shape or form, with very few missed, proud to say. Local show today. Hartville show was this morning. I'm recording this on Saturday. I should note, because it could potentially be important. The NFL playoff games have not happened yet. I'm recording this Saturday afternoon. I just got home from the show. Cavs game just started, so we're going to get this knocked out at halftime and then finish up the Cavs game and then right into a bunch of NFL action. Local show was moderately busy today, kind of a weird weekend for shows locally, as we had the Hartville show. There was also a show in Cleveland at South Park Mall, and then another show at a different mall, Southern Park Mall, not to be confused, over in the Youngstown area going on this weekend. So I think the base was kind of split. That is, me essentially in Canton being in the middle of those two shows, with Hartville being locally here, and then another show an hour basically northwest, and then another show an hour due east. So I had 3 potential shows to go to. I just went to the Hartville one because it was 10 minutes down the street. Thinking about maybe running out to the Boardman one while you're all watching this on Sunday morning. We'll see. Depends on what time I get up and get moving tomorrow. So the vibes were a little lighter today than normal. Some of the regular dealers weren't set up, as they probably went to shows that were a little closer to their home base. So kind of a quiet Saturday morning. Walked around, talked to my usual folks that I chit chat with. Did not buy anything. Really wasn't planning on buying anything. It's usually hit or miss for me there. Every once in a while, though, I do run into something. There was one cool card that I saw, a Myles Garrett card, but this is not the good time to be buying Myles Garrett, as his prices are ultra inflated at the moment. With that, let's just go ahead and dive straight into it. A bunch of smaller news stories this week. One big scam. We have a Topps lawsuit, and then a bunch of little odds and ends, and then we'll look at just a very few charts and graphs towards the end. I should mention, I posted this on the community tab and on Twitter, and I am terrible about remembering to mention this. I do have a Discord. So if you want to hop in and chat with myself and other viewers of the channel, totally free. It's not one of those, charged Discords or whatever. But if you use Discord and you want to hang out and chit chat, I'll try to remember to drop the link in the video description or on a pinned comment or something. So first up, Topps is stealing our data allegedly. There is a new hobby lawsuit. This popped up middle of the week. And essentially what they are accusing Topps of doing is embedding tracking software. And it was essentially not known to us. And even if you opted out of it, it was still potentially doing the tracking. Once again, allegedly, it's a lawsuit. Hasn't actually happened yet. We'll see what happens, because I believe what they are going for is a class action lawsuit. So if that does happen, we would probably all get notification of it if it goes that far, because this is basically affects anyone that has ever purchased anything off Topps's website if this ends up going through. So we'll see what happens with this. Something to kind of monitor, file away. Wasn't worth its own standalone video, but definitely wanted to throw it out there. And this was from over on Sports Collectors Daily, was the first place I saw this flagged. And this comes out of California. So we'll see if this goes anywhere or not. Next, Topps 2026 Series 1. Yep, that time of year already. 75th year anniversary. And we have our box art for it, as we get Ohtani and Judge for the current day stars, and then Hank Aaron and Ken Griffey Jr. for the throwbacks. Decent box design on this. Now, we don't know what the cards look like. And normally the Topps Series 1 design, whatever, they throw it out there. It's not like a huge deal. But now it feels like it is a much bigger deal, because as we have seen, and I assume this is going to continue into 2026, Top Series 1 is going to be the design for, my guess, everything for the rest of the year. And what I mean by that is baseball, basketball, and football. Because 2026 is the year that they get the football license. So we are going to see that design carry across 3 different product tiers, or 3 different sports, and then it's going to filter down to Top Series 1 and Series 2 and update, and then Topps Chrome and Topps Chrome update. So we are going to see it in a lot of places. So it is very important for them to get the design right. I'm sure they're going to have a bunch of nonsense for the 75th anniversary stuff. We already see some of the various boxes here in regards to selling formats. There was some interesting notes about retail blasters not being in here. There are Fanatics blasters. These are sold direct on Fanatics website, but I don't see a traditional blaster. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on that. We have fat packs here. We have hangers and we have megas, but I don't see a retail blaster box here other than the Fanatics exclusive one. So just kind of something to flag. We're still early in the days here of previews for this, but we'll see what the design looks like. That'll be the next big thing that everyone waits for. Decent box design. Once again, it's Top Series 1. Your bigger chase here is the SSPs and the gold mirrors and things like that out of this product. Typically, the rookie class this year should be pretty decent, with a headline of Roman Anthony and Jack Caglione. Caglione obviously struggled on his call-up last year, so we'll see. A lot of it will be determined on what kind of spring training he has. But Roman Anthony is going to be a pretty big chase for this upcoming season at a minimum, so a lot of the products will probably be built around him. Gem Rate, as is customary, came out with a updated top 50 graded athletes of all time. And this is absolutely wild when you think about this. Jordan being number 1 is no surprise. Ohtani up to number 2 now is wild, given that he's only had cards since 2018. Wemby, now number 6, is absolutely crazy. He's only been in the league for a couple of years, and he is already number 6 in the most graded of all time. He has more cards graded than Mickey Mantle, Derek Jeter, Tom Brady, Nolan Ryan, Luka. That was a surprising one for me. Like, you expect some of the older ones not to be on there because the print counts were a lot lower. Not necessarily lower, you just didn't have all the parallels as many sets coming out. But to be higher than Luka already is wild. You know how many Tom Brady and Derek Jeter cards are out there? Because it's not like they stopped making them once they retired, especially Jeter. I mean, to be 6th already on that list, that's the surprising one to me. Some other new additions to the list: Jaden Daniels at 28. There are more Jaden Daniel graded cards than Roberto Clemente and Pete Rose and Wayne Gretzky. Let that marinate for a minute. Caitlin Clark coming in at 34th. Ellie De La Cruz at 38th. More Ellie De La Cruz graded cards than Tiger Woods. That part of that is, there's a ton of golf cards out there. Towards the bottom of the list, Paul Skeens sneaking on at 47th. More cards graded than Magic Johnson. Once again, let that one marinate. And then last but not least, Lionel Messi sneaking in at 50th. Have to imagine that one continues to climb up the list as well. But just wild stuff. Some of these athletes that have only been in the league or leagues 2 years are this high up on this list already over all-time great players. Really makes you look at the ultra-modern space and go, what are we actually doing here? What are we actually doing? Speaking of lists, PSA put out a little interesting thing. Most counterfeited cards in 2025. And the surprising thing here is there's only one sports card on the list, and it's the 86 Fleer Jordan, which shouldn't come as any surprise. The 99 Charizard Holo First Edition, also Not a big surprise. The other two Pokemon cards, the XYs, I am not as familiar with. The Charizards from the EX and the Ultra Rare. And then which this one surprised me as well, the gray felt hat Pikachu from the Van Gogh thing. And the pop count on that is massive. And that card does sell for a lot, especially in a PSA 10. So it's not surprising that people would try to counterfeit that one because it sells for a large amount and there's a ton of them out there. So it just makes it kind of easier to blend in when there's a billion of them on the market. So crazy that surprised me that made the list. I am not surprised that 4 out of the 5 are Pokemon cards. And then I'm not surprised that the 86 Fleer Jordan is the number 1 on the list. Panini release schedule. We are winding down, but Optic Football and Prism Football 2025 are on the horizon. Those come out at the end of the month, end of January, beginning of February. Kind of crazy that this is going to be the last release of Optic and Prism in the Panini era. The last hurrah for licensed football under the Prism era. Weird rookie class for it this year. Like Cam Ward was Shadur Sanders has a ton of hype, but and he was fine, but his offensive line was terrible. The team was a disaster. Not like a huge, to me, there's no massive chase. Travis Hunter was out all year. Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart, I guess, are probably your two biggest names. It'd be fun watching Dustin go broke, buying into breaks, chasing Tyler Shuck gold prisms. So we'll see how things play out with this one. Final hurrah. And then talked about this on the live stream the other night. One thing to keep in mind is the rumor is when Topps gets the license in April, they are coming out with 2025 product. So we don't know what, when, where, if it's going to be a full release run or if they're just going to do like a series 1 and a chrome and maybe a couple of higher end products. But there is going to be 2025 Topps football licensed from Topps. And that, at least that's the rumor. And that has a potentially weird impact on the secondary market for this stuff. Because all of a sudden, and potentially for the first time and only time ever, you are going to have a Cam Ward Silver Prism licensed directly competing with a Topps Chrome Refractor licensed. And if that ends up happening, the 2025 rookie class in football could be way oversaturated in regards to cards to chase. So kind of keep that one in mind if you're looking to dump a ton of money into Prism football singles of a player. There could be a lot of inventory out there. Once again, we don't know exactly what Topps is doing, but that's the word on the street, and we'll see what happens with it. So just kind of something to file away there as we head into this weird period of the last of the big licenses transitioning over. Quick little diversion into the wonderful world of comic books. Action Comics #1, new record sale for the highest selling comic book of all time. 15 million. Sold privately via Comic Connect. I have not had it happen yet, but I believe this is a big topping point on The Ungraded Truth, the podcast I have with Swags, Automatic, and the 99 Newsstand, which is recording later this evening, and for you people in the future, has already happened. So I don't know what we said about this, but I know that we talked about it. Weird content creation sometimes, and timelines get very fuzzy, and it's very hard to keep track sometimes as well. But we have a new all-time record in the comic book collecting space for biggest sales ever. Coming later this year, and I think this is they kind of borrowed this one a little bit. It's a different take on it. Glad to see it once again. I love things that are tied to specific games, players, etc. When we can get down to that level of detail, I really like that. Upper Deck is launching an NHL game jersey debut card program. Say that 5 times fast. Here's an example of one. This is the one of one. So it's not the rookie debut patch like Topps is doing. This is a more legit piece of the actual jersey itself from that game versus an iron-on patch. Now, one of the things that I think is unique that they're doing is there's the big 101 chase, with the really cool patch and the autograph and everything, but it looks like they're also doing a more basic napkin patch style, but it's still a piece of the debut game jersey. So I like this, and I'm not a hockey guy, so it's not like I'm going to go out and chase any of this stuff. But if this came to other sports, I just like the idea that there is a potential here to get into like an entry-level version of a debut patch. I am never going to be able to afford a debut patch of my favorite player, most likely, because they sell for tens of thousands of dollars. But if I could get like maybe a 2-color, even a single color napkin patch of, an upcoming Cavs rookie, whatever, Jalen Tyson, let's say, he was from a year ago, and I could get a debut jersey patch from his debut game for, I don't know, $50, $75, $100. I have no idea what these will sell for. It'll depend on the player. I actually like that quite a bit. I think that's cool. I think that's unique. Great idea by Upper Deck. Really, really like this. They kind of stole the MLB or the Topps debut patch and kind of twisted it in their own thing. I would honestly love to see Topps steal something like this. Now, the trick with this is that you have, like, they're having to get the full jersey from a player. And I'm assuming that, Upper Deck works very closely with the NHL. I am sure that they probably have one designated jersey that they wear on debut night that is specific to Upper Deck. And we all know that they switch jerseys a million times throughout a game. So they probably have one specifically set aside that goes to Upper Deck, one specifically that's the players to keep. So there's multiple. We know that there's multiple jerseys that they wear in a single game. But still, just to know that you can even get a napkin patch tied back to their debut game, I think is pretty cool. And like I said, some of these hockey patches, I am not a hockey collector. Whenever I go past a showcase that has a lot of hockey like patches in it, I am jealous. Hockey patch cards look awesome sometimes. And I think it's just the nature of the jerseys have, these big, bold, huge logos and big patches on the arm and in the chest and there's just something about hockey patches. They just do it right. Like I said, napkin patches, whatever, but like this sort of stuff, the laundry tag patch on a hockey jersey is massive. They just really, Upper Deck, hat tip to you. Great idea with this one. Sticking with Upper Deck, but jumping over to the non-sports side, they have signed an agreement with Harry Potter. The Wizards are coming to Upper Deck. Now, what we don't know is there's a lot of unknowns. This stuff isn't coming out until much later this year. Is this, I assume, because it does say Sorcerer's Stone 25th anniversary, I assume they're going to do both because there is a new HBO show coming out. I assume there is going to be sets built around the OG properties and the new properties. The key for this will be, in my opinion, how do they go about getting autographs? Are they able to get the main cast autos from the original Harry Potter stuff? Those now, because there are some sets out there, I forget who manufactures it off the top of my head because I don't pay super close attention to it. I don't mind Harry Potter. I've never read the books. My wife and I usually watch the movies every Christmas or that time of year. We just do an annual kind of rewatch on them. They're perfectly fine. I'm not like a huge Harry Potter nerd or anything like that, but I could sit down and enjoy the movies. I went to the theme park section at Universal Studios a few years ago. I thought that it was cool. I did not walk around swinging a wand around at various different things like you could do. I just thought the park was very well done. I haven't gone to the new one over at Epic Universe yet. But the autograph signings on this are going to matter. The old school Harry Potter release that they did, not Upper Deck, there are triple autos from, the main three. They sell for a extreme amount of money. I mean, extreme. So we'll see if they could get the original cast to sign. I'd be curious to see if they are able to have that happen. What does that do to the values of the old ones? Because you're going to have more supply coming to market. Now, a lot of people will have a fondness to the OG autos, but if they could get new autos, that's still more supply coming to market that could potentially have a impact on the older stuff that's out there. We'll see. Just kind of something to file away. It's a big license to get. I know it might not apply to a lot of the folks that are viewing this video, though a decent amount of non-sports viewership. This is going to be a big one depending on how this plays out. So one to file away and think about. Topps Chrome Sapphire update. What a mess. What a mess. Just goes without saying. Topps direct releases continue to be an absolute pain in the ass. Now, I did talk to a handful of folks that do the whole bot stuff, and it does appear that Topps has managed to close some loopholes on the bots. From what I have been told, and someone can correct me if the comments if I'm wrong on this, that the bots seem to struggle both with this release and with the recent Stranger Things release. That being said, I think my experience was like a lot of other folks. I was on the website right when this dropped, added it to the cart, instantly a 25-minute wait to check out. As soon as I saw that, I knew I was cooked. 25 minutes. I think it lasted maybe 5 to 8 minutes into that timer. Poof, gone, sold out. These were $450 a box. They are selling on the secondary market for around $700, $750. So not a huge flip, but you're making a couple $100, maybe a little less after eBay fees. I am shocked that they did a Sapphire release that was not EQL. I cannot believe they did not do an EQL release for this. It blows my mind this was not EQL. 2. The previews, I saw some box art for it. It's not on the Topps website yet. Topps Chrome Basketball Sapphire is going to be coming soon. They better do an EQL for that, because it is going to be a shit show if they do not. Topps Chrome Sapphire boxes, basketball, or I don't know what they're going to be up front. It doesn't matter. Buy every single one you could buy direct from Topps. They are going to resell for a massive amount of money. Topps Chrome Basketball, which leads us into our next and one of the final things we're going to look at over in Market Movers. Link in the description down below. Coupon codes, the whole 9 yards. Topps Chrome Basketball secondary market prices on sealed continue to climb. This is over the last 14 days, and this is I looked at this just last week, and it has jumped again. Topps jumbo boxes are now going for almost $2,000. Holy smokes. Think about that. $2,000. I'm rounding up by $25-$50. Go back and watch the jumbo box that I opened on the channel. Imagine, I paid $700 for that and got punched in the nuts. Imagine paying $2,000 for that box and opening it. Hobby boxes are now up to $680, creeping on $700. Insane. And then last thing we'll look at here. So a jumbo, 3 autos, plus some other stuff. And I know, like, you're not guaranteed to get your value back out of the box 100%. If you hit a Cooper Flag base rookie auto, you would be thrilled opening up one of these boxes. If you cracked it open and you just hit a Topps Chrome base rookie, you'd be like, God damn, I crushed this. I got the best rookie in the set, super hyped, on-card rookie auto. I am doing great. That card sells for $1,500. Congratulations. Before eBay selling fees, let's factor in, let's knock off $150 of that for eBay selling fees. Take that down to $1,300. You paid $2,000 for the box. Congratulations, madam or sir. You hit the best rookie auto that you can hit, and you lost $700 on the box. What about the refractor, you might say? The refractor auto. Nice looking card. Looks great. All nice and shiny. Last comp, $2,600. So even if you hit the refractor, and you sell it, after eBay fees, you netted about $200. That is wild. Absolutely wild. And this just goes to show, because once again, you know who's not buying these at $2,000 a box? Me and you. You know who is? Breakers. This right here, I'm literally pointing at my screen. You can't see me. I am literally pointing at my screen. This right here is how breakers drive up the price of wax, because they gobble up the supply, because they could take that $2,000 box, slice it, dice it, and dole it out and make a killing on it by microtransacting the thing out. And you're forced to go that way. Like Jeff Wilson said in his video a couple of weeks ago, you know, it's a great way to get into the product because you can't afford it otherwise. I don't know if he said that. That might be me adding that in, but that was basically the gist of it. The reason you can't afford it is because of the breakers. I might do a topic on breaking, just a little chit chat. It's been a hot topic of the week. A couple friends of the channel have put out videos on it. Dakota, Carlos, Andy, Sports Card Investigator, put out a great video about breaking. So we'll see. I have some thoughts. We'll see. But that wraps up this week. I hope the NFL games treated you well. Once again, I don't know what happened. I'm about to go settle in and watch those. Hope your local shows went great. Probably Monday off. We'll see. Not sure what we got on the plate for content for next week. I have nothing planned. Join the Discord if you haven't. Catch boys and girls on the next one. Peace.